Good morning, athletes, founders. This is Open Athletes. I'm Jeremy Wolf, former MLB draft pick. Was on an Olympic team and qualified for the Olympics, but didn't go to the Olympics. Former founder of many multiples of things, and now founder of More Than Baseball. Well, I used to do that. Founder of Open Athletes, and your host for today. Coming up, Apple just put you behind home plate in a way that should scare every TV network. I think so. Maybe. We'll talk about it. The NFL sold a record pile of ad inventory before a single meaningful snap. That's because the Hall of Fame game is just a practice game, not meaningful. A Duke recruit got a piece of a pasta company instead of a check. England is about to yank the betting logo off the front of the jersey. We talked about this last week, but there's more to come in this story, and we're coming back to it. Marseille sold the name of its own stadium. And ESPN's big streaming bet is 1 year in, and so we're going to check in on the receipts. Then in our close today, the one thing every one of these stories is secretly about. If you are a frequent guest of this show, guess which one it is. But first, our quick hits. The Saudi Private Investment Fund closes its $55 billion takeover of EA Sports. It's in the game. Per Sports Travel and PIF, Silver Lake and Affinity closed their reported $55 billion buyout of Electronic Arts. Madden, FC, college football, all sit under the same fund that was behind Live, that is behind Newcastle United. When the people who own your league also own the video game you're in, who's negotiating your likeness? As we talked about with the college football players last week. Yeah, I got a little bit of heat. I was saying 1,500 is not enough for them. Would we rather have two guys making $2 million each? Or, I don't know, 1,500 making 1,500 each? I'd rather have 1,500 making 1,500 each. And 1,500 each is not enough. It's not enough for how much money that game is going to make them. It's not enough. DraftKings says its prediction volumes platform hit $11 billion in annualized revenue, up from $2.3 billion months earlier. Sports event contracts are now in 18 states. Sports is now more of a casino than it ever has been. Fresno State patches every varsity sport. Per Extra Points, a wonderful company, home to your pistachios, gets a patch across all 18 programs, different brands on different teams. Somewhere, a college swimmer is about to find out what the pistachio logo is going to look like on their swim cap. Yes. And this is, we saw with Chase and Ohio State University, Fresno State, obviously the wonderful company does as a headquarters up there. I mean, what's gonna happen in Phoenix with Arizona State? What are we gonna do at U of A? Is it gonna be Caterpillar? Is it gonna be Raytheon at U of A? We will see. But this is coming. This is coming because it's another way to incentivize brands to participate in the organizations, but it's another way to make money for the organizations. And so with companies like Chase and the wonderful company and others that might be interested, yes, we're going to see this across all states, all everywhere. It's coming. Female athletes NIL activity jumped 123% from 2,136 to 4,772 women doing deals in a year. The distribution that these brands are looking for doesn't care what sport you play. They care about your reach. They care about who you are and your reach. And that's it. So good on you. 123% jump is exceptional, and we're going to see this jump and jump and jump and jump as we keep going. Netflix crosses 325 million subscribers. I would say they're leaning more towards live sports to feed its ad business. And it has the Field of Dreams game this week, which is always entertaining. Those guys always play up for it. 5 years ago, Netflix said it would never do live sports, and now live sports is its ad salesman. Live sports is the only thing that people are tuning into now. So, this Apple story. 5 immersive games coming to your Apple Vision Pro starting on August 28th. Apple and MLB announced that Friday Night Baseball is coming to Vision Pro in the Apple Immersive Video. Not highlights, live games, shot in 3D like you're sitting behind home plate. Per Apple's newsroom, 7 Friday Night Baseball games from August 28th to September 18th, 5 presented live in Apple Immersive. Per Apple, the immersive feed is 8K, 3D, with a 180-degree field of view and spatial audio from the ballpark. Per Sportico, the first immersive game is Red Sox at Yankees on Friday, August 28th. For 100 years, the value in sports media was the broadcast. One feed sent to everybody, and the athlete was the raw material at the bottom of the chain. Apple is quietly changing what a broadcast even is. Quietly. Vision Pros are still thousands of dollars a month. Can't wear it for longer than a couple of hours. How many people have? How many sports fans have? How many people are buying the Apple Vision Pro? We're going to go buy the Apple Vision Pro to just watch MLB games on it. I have not tried one on. I have not used one. But they look heavy. And are they the coolest thing that you could possibly put on your face? They're cooler than, well, they're way better than the Ray-Ban with the Meta and the glasses and the that. At least they're not going to be shown in those, but with these Apple Vision Pros, those are thousands of dollars. But this is a science experiment. So is TV, so is streaming, so is Netflix doing live sports. So what? In an immersive world, being in the room is the product, and you, the athlete, are the only one actually in the room. And Netflix should be more scared of this than you are. Would you strap a headset on for a Tuesday night game, or is this just a rich guy toy 5 years old early? Rich guy toy. Okay, this is cute. It's cute. But, we're not doing metaverse stuff, AI stuff. It's not happening. Not happening. So, I have nothing more to say. I'm lost for words because, okay, cool, they're going to go on the Vision Pro, and is it going to be cool to wear? Yes, but I'm not going to buy an Apple Vision Pro for $3,000. I am certainly not going to buy an Oculus, which I probably can't even watch it on an Oculus. Well, okay. Cool. Sure. Apple and Major League Baseball announced September Friday Night Baseball schedule. First ever broadcast in Apple Immersive. Today, Apple and Major League Baseball unveiled the September schedule of Friday Night Baseball, the weekly doubleheader, streaming every Friday on Apple TV through the 2026 season. Apple TV subscribers across 60 countries and regions can enjoy 2 marquee matchups each week with enhanced production quality, expert commentary with no local broadcast. They're selling me on the fact that they black out local TV games. Great. So I'm going to get that to watch the Arizona Diamondbacks play the Miami Marlins. Hey, if you spend $3,000 on this Apple Vision Pro, you won't have local broadcast restrictions. Wow. For the first time, baseball fans can take all the action of Friday Night Baseball live in Apple Immersive on Apple Vision Pro. Okay, iconic Red Sox and Yankees rivalry. Good way to start. August 28th. The experience features bespoke commentary from Paul Severino, Xavier Scruggs, Michelle Margot. Okay, spatial audio. Sure. I want to hear the sound of the game. Great. Who we got? Red Sox at Yankees. Oh, Angels at Pirates. Tigers at Guardians. Reds at Brewers. Padres at Giants. Phillies at Mets. Giants at Dodgers. Cleveland Guardians took their playoff hopes alive as they blah, blah, blah. Okay, fine. This is Apple selling it to me. Apple takes a VR swing nearly 10 years after MLB's first virtual reality broadcast deal. Baseball is returning to the VR diamond. It's now more available. It's now the technology is there. Okay. Apple used the 3D captured in 8K. Okay. Last year, for instance, Apple integrated iPhone 17 Pro devices as cameras during MLB broadcasts. An MLS match was shot entirely on iPhones. The additional help, okay, fine, with professional gear. Yes, you can sit courtside. Yes. You do all these things. I'm not gonna buy it. Doesn't mean that you're not gonna buy it. And if you already have one, let me know how it goes. Okay, there's nothing more to say here other than, yeah, okay, it's a partnership with Apple. They're extending their partnership with Apple that they already have for Friday Night Baseball. And they're going to stream these games on the thing. And you're going to watch it. And you're going to go, wow, that's cool. But my ears hurt because it's so heavy. And these things are still so expensive. How much are they? Apple Vision Pro cost. Starts at $3,600. Okay, well, cool, I guess. People in the comments and chat are like, "Well, it's great. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's incredibly immersive and great." But I'm not spending $3,600. If it was gonna replace my TV, okay, let's play the game. If Jeremy was not married, would he get one and use that as his television? It's possible. I'm not saying it's out of the question. I'm just saying we're a little early, and for the 350 people or whoever, there's thousands of Apple Vision Pros out there. And if you're one of them, let me know how it goes. Watch the game. Let me know how the experience is. Should they bring it to other sports? If it was on the referee during World Cup games, like, possibilities are endless. But am I going to be like, oh, hey, I'm going to go get the Vision Pro. We got Angels Pirates coming up. And it's just behind the scene. If it's on the umpire, more to this. The NFL's record $6 billion ad machine. NFL media partners sell a record $6 billion in ads. The season hasn't started and the NFL already won. Per Sportico, its media partners sold a record $6 billion in advertising before a game that counts. That's the machine, and it's the best business model in American entertainment. NFL media partners booked a record $6 billion in advertising ahead of the 2026 season per prior reporting. The media rights deal runs $110 billion across 11 years. This is year 3. Sportico said ESPN pays $2.7 billion a year for Monday Night Football. Do I have that right? And a Super Bowl? ESPN's getting a Super Bowl? I don't know about that. We will see. I will look that up. Scarcity plus schedule. Live is the last thing people still watch with ads. The advertisers aren't paying for football. They're paying for simultaneity. The one moment left where 30 million people look at the same screen at the same second. We used to call monoculture, which does not exist anymore. There's all 40 different cultures. Everybody's tuning in to different things. It's not about the content. The money is the attention in the content. Stop asking, what should I post? And start asking, what assembles a crowd on a schedule? 2, that $6 billion flows to the league and the networks. The upside on the ad machine belongs to the owners. Immersive direct-to-fan sports is the first science experiment that routes attention around the machine toward the individual. Is the NFL's model bulletproof for 20 more years? Yes. Or is everybody watching the same feed quietly dying? It's dead. Sports is the only thing where everybody is watching the same thing. It's the only thing that's left that's tune in. You're not going to tune in to watch the series finale of MASH anymore, which is one of the highest rated single events on television history. You're not going to do that. Sports is the last one. The NFL knows how to absolutely capitalize on the thing that it is doing, always and forever. That's what they are good at. That's what they are amazing at. It should probably go without saying that there's rarely a downside to booking nearly $6 billion in advertising revenue per Sportico, especially when that 10-figure windfall is 7% greater than the year ago haul. As primetime unit costs continue to shrink alongside an even dwindling audience, the NFL's media partners are practically swimming in marketing bucks, a dynamic that only emphasizes how essential the league's games are for top-tier U.S. TV networks. It is appointment television. They own 3 days a week, Sunday, Monday, and Thursday. And they'll own Saturday when college football games are over. Remove playoff and Super Bowl inventory from the equation, and the take was $4.24 billion, up an even 6% versus the previous regular season campaign. Postseason was even steeper. NFL's 13-game January-February slate generated $1.62 billion in revenue. $1 billion in total sales, excuse me. An 8.5% game that works out to an additional $127 million. The NFL stranglehold over the American imagination feels even more asphyxiating upon comparison with somewhat more distant seasons. Go back just 4 years, the league's partners have seen their regular season sales grow a staggering 34.6% from $3.15 billion. Set the dial in your time machine to 2017, 2018, and the dollar volume soared 69.6%. Huge. These are huge numbers. We've been talking for a week now. Also raking it in during the 2025-2026 campaign where NBC Peacock with $996 million in regular season sales, ESPN ABC $525 million, Amazon Prime with $488 million, Netflix, which cranked out $112 million in sales with one Christmas Day doubleheader. Let that sit there for a second. One Christmas Day doubleheader. Netflix cranked out $112.8 million in sales. We've been talking about the death of television networks. Almost to a fault, because I just think it's fascinating. It's a fascinating part of the economy. NBC Peacock, for their season, 25-26, $996 million in regular season ad sales. ESPN ABC, which literally just hosts Monday Night Football, $525 million. Amazon Prime's Video, $488 million, which just has Thursday Night Football. Netflix had one weekend, $112.8 million in sales. Whoa. These numbers are only going up. The beneficiaries of these, obviously, the league is flush with cash. The owners, flush with cash. Curious to know how it's shared back to the union or back to the athletes. When you do the research and you write these scripts and you review everything, you're like, you don't think about this in real time, and then the conversation comes up. How does the NFL? Maybe they don't share revenue. Maybe game revenue. They pay players per game. How does the NFL share revenue on ads with players? The NFL shares revenue from advertising on other commercial activities with players. A defined revenue sharing model established in the collective bargaining agreement rather than a direct split of ad dollars. There is a league-wide corporate sponsorship, official sponsors, national media rights. It's pooled in the NFL's national revenue category. This pool, which exceeds $13.8 billion for the 2024 season, is distributed evenly among 32 teams, providing each franchise with $432.6 annually. Player share calculations. Players do not receive a percentage of the advertising revenue directly. Instead, they receive a share of the total defined revenues, which includes national TV deals, etc. Players are guaranteed a minimum of 48% of the total revenues. Good. Good. Okay, so players are benefiting. The player share is then used to fund the salary cap and player benefits, meaning player benefits for advertising revenue indirectly through higher overall league revenues that drive up the salary cap. What happens when you're live, folks? You're like, oh, where's this? Let me pull the string here and see where this thought takes me. Okay, so there's some. It's tied back into the salary cap. It's what funds their contracts. These numbers are going up, and our players, if numbers are going up, our contracts going up the same amount. Is there a cap to what owners can make? No. But there's the cap to what they can spend on players. Just think about that. Think. You're here to think. You're here to think. You're also here to think. Today's sponsor, Athletes Fund, the venture fund that backs current and former athletes building real companies with capital plus a network that actually gets your world. Check them out at athletes.fund. we've talked a lot about the revenues going into the owner's pocket. We have talked a lot about how the players are, stuck. Salaries are increasing, but they're not increasing at the same rate that the revenues are increasing for the owners. Just think about it. A Duke recruit owns the pasta. Duke commit takes equity, not just a check. My favorite story of the day. It's about frozen ravioli. Darren Rippey Jr., a 5-star point guard committed to Duke, signed an NIL deal with a pasta brand called Rippey. What I care about isn't the pasta. I will probably try it, but it is not about the pasta. It's that he took equity, not just a check. Rippey took an equity stake reported under 1% that vests over time alongside a modest 5-figure cash component. Per On3, Rippey was founded in 2025 and expanded into Whole Foods nationwide in 2026. Rippey is the first athlete the company has. Rippey. Company's name is Rippey. His name is Rippey. Sure. First athlete the company has signed. Yeah, and he's playing it too. Great. A sub 1% stake in a young pasta company is worth close to nothing today. It's worth close to nothing. It is increasing. When you're in Whole Foods, you have the distribution that will increase the value of the pasta company. Sure. The point is an 18-year-old in a circle understood the difference between getting paid and getting an owner's seat. Most NIL is a vending machine. Money in, post out, eligibility ends, you own nothing. Equity says your brand will be worth much more later because she could be, are attached to it. So give me a piece of later. What is later? What can Rippey do, the athlete, to increase the value of Rippey, the pasta company? You don't have to be Kevin Durant. He's not Kevin Durant. He's an 18-year-old kid going to play at Duke. I'm sure as a 5-star recruit going to Duke, you are also going to make money as part of your NIL. I'm sure there are other brand deals, but this is opening the floodgates, the great floodgates, so that this kid gets a piece of the pie. You don't have to be Kevin Durant with a $100 million fund. A kid took a piece of a pasta company, and the reason they gave him equity is they wanted his distribution, his audience. The audience is the asset. Cash or a small equity piece. That is the point. Good on this kid. Good on his circle for understanding being in the window, for understanding the value that he's got. Good for him. Good for the brand to say that kid's got the same name as we do. Frozen Pasta brand Rippey doesn't have the marketing dollars of a global company, but it's playing the long game by getting in on the ground floor of a basketball prospect with a bright future. Darren Rippey Jr. is an ambitious set of goals when he arrives on campus at Duke later this year. The high school basketball star wants to win the ACC tournament, secure his team the #1 ranking in the country, and add a national championship to the Blue Devils trophy case. Trifecta, the school is currently one leg short of achieving as they open this year's men's NCAA tournament against Siena. I just want to go out there and win with my brothers. Good. He's hardly the only one rooting for that to happen on Thursday. Frozen pasta brand Rippey will announce it has signed an NIL partnership with Rippey. The deal comes with a modest 5-figure cash payment and a less than 1% stake in the company that vests over multiple years based on Rippey's continued involvement with the business. Incentivize him to continue to participate. It's not just an upfront investment of shares and a percentage of the company. He has to earn it. It also has the option to extend beyond his Duke career. But Rippey, which is named for the Italian word for stuffed and filling ripieno, my Italian doesn't come through here, isn't just having a bit of fun with the serendipitously named 5-star prospect. The nascent startup has limited resources, having pulled together just $1.5 million in funding thus far, while currently raising another $2 million. The company projects revenues to climb from $350,000 in 2025 to $6.5 million this year, but a brand that size still has a chance of landing endorsement deals with established college and pro stars because they are thinking out of the box. How do we incentivize the participation of the athletes that are at this level, that can give us the visibility, that can give us the distribution? They're looking at everything that they see around the food and beverage industry and saying, how can we participate in the same way by creating a brand that is driven by stars at this certain level. Maybe Darren Rippey Jr. is one of those stars. What comes to mind is I coach youth baseball, and all of these kids are drinking Prime Energy, Prime drinks. I don't know much about it, but I know that's Jake Paul's company. And his other, the other YouTube guys. Sure. They are fully deep in sports and fully deep in a specific generation. Now, can the Rippey Pasta Company play the long game and buy a lottery ticket for a player who may find himself within March Madness? Great. What can they do to leverage their connection with this fan as they get to March and April of either this year, or he gets drafted in the NBA and he still has an equity percentage and he's still participating? If you're this kid, you're going to do as much as you can to try to increase the value of this, because 1%, this company sells for $1 billion. That's a lot of quiche. What did Kobe do? Kobe took a 1%, one something percent stake in, this is maybe the first of its kind, in whatever energy drink it was, and sold it for $400 something million. The founder of Rippey said, we weren't looking to go after someone that would cost hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. We're both sort of getting in with each other early on the ground floor. I think it's the absolute best decision. And players, like athletes, we have talked about this. Duke has had other big names: Cooper Flagg, Paolo Banchero, Cam Reddish, stars. Long time ago, JJ Redick. Stars. Kyrie Irving. Stars. But now with NIL, you can be as creative as possible. The athlete can incentivize brands to work with them and get a seat at the table. I would love to have, if you are watching Darren Rippey Jr. or one of his people, or get this. I'm looking right at the camera. I can't zoom it. I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna make this dramatic. I would love to talk to you. I would love to have the conversation with you. I think it's incredibly important that this happens more often, so that brands can leverage the fact that you are on a national stage. You are outside of the algorithm. People are gonna see you watching games. What are you going to? What are you going to do during games? I don't know. What is he just going to like open his shirt up and just bring the sponsor? No, that's not going to happen. But if you like the kid, and if you're going to follow the kid, he's going to post on social media, sure. And kids are going to want to participate in the thing that he's doing. And so I think there's a tremendous amount of value for brands to look at this and be a model for the future. And if you're an athlete, think about having this conversation with the brands that you get in touch with, or they get in touch with you. He's getting less than 1% vested over multiple years. And if you play your role, that 1% or less than 1%, or incentivized to be 1% or more than 1%, is big money. Life-changing. So think about it. Betting story of the day. England bans a betting jersey. We've talked about this. Premier League pulls gambling off the front of the shirt. But more specifically, to England itself, where a policy just went live that the U.S. should watch. The U.S. is always 5-10 years behind Europe in terms of betting, technology law. Premier League's self-imposed ban on front-of-shirt gambling sponsors takes effect this year. No more betting brands across the chest. Everton just scrambled to replace that money. Per the club, Everton confirmed CMC Markets, a trading firm, as its new front-of-shirt sponsor, reported £30 million or $40 million per year. The prior betting sponsor, Stake, moves down to the sleeve, which the ban still allows for. Per the reporting, the front-of-shirt gambling ban is a Premier League rule for 2026-2027. The league didn't ban gambling money. It banned it from the most valuable square inches on the entire kit. The betting brand slid from the chest to the sleeve. The money's still in the building. It just moved to the side. And so what? Regulation almost never kills a revenue stream. It relocates it. If you build a brand or media business in sports, don't bet your model on a category staying legal or welcome forever. Own the audience and you survive. your sponsor category getting shoved to the sleeve. Depending on one category and one policy change can end you. Is this real fan protection or theater that just reprices to save money? Fan protection. Youth and fan protection. I think. Probably. I mean, why else would they do it if they weren't really, really concerned with betting? But these contracts have already been signed. What can the Premier League do? I mean, it's valuable real estate, right? So, like, we're thinking of the ramifications here. Could the Premier League just say, no more sports betting, you have to get rid of everybody, and you have to find new revenue streams? I'm sure more will come from this as some of these deals begin to expire. What, is Everton still going to have stake on their sleeve forever? Does stake still want to participate and be on the jersey? Yeah, probably, yes. Because they can't be on the front of the shirt anymore. What I'm interested to see over the next couple of years what the U.S. does. If anything, we're a lot more relaxed with laws when it comes to this, but we're at the peak of the how the market is moving. The revenues have never been higher for any of these platforms. Prediction markets, sports betting, gambling has not been inside of sports more so than it ever has been. So, what is the U.S. going to do, not this year, over the next couple of years? If it becomes illegal, if any of this becomes illegal again, are the teams still going to find ways to... How are the companies still going to find ways to participate in sport? The reason why we're talking about this now, again, is because there's still some movement. Everton moved stake from the front to the side. There's still money coming in. Somebody replaced them in a week. The real estate on top of these jerseys is incredibly valuable still. Kits, excuse me for our British audience. Put a pin in it. Plant the seed. What are we going to see over the next couple of years? Interested to see. Marseille, it's French, sells its stadium name. The Velodrome is now the CPAC Velodrome. Olympique de Marseille is renaming its legendary stadium. The Stade Velodrome becomes the CPAC Velodrome after a regional cooperative bank, a 7-year deal. Marseille signed a 7-year naming rights deal with the Velodrome with the bank CPAC. The deal is estimated at £2.45 million per season. It comes as the club works through financial pressure. The Velodrome isn't just a stadium, it's the identity, and the club rented that for £2.5 million a year because the money was useful and the asset sat there unmonetized. It's real money for a club under pressure, and the name was dead inventory. But notice the trade. They converted heritage into cash flow, a lever you can pull only so many times before fans stop recognizing what they root for. Every athlete has a stadium name. Your name, your handle, your identity. Someone will always offer you pounds to slap their brand on it, or rent the sleeve, or rent the chest. Renting the roof might be a little dramatic. I might be being a little dramatic. But it changes the heritage of how people see your team. But if you can bring in £2.5 million a year by bringing in an advertiser, and you need the money, and that's just something open. What was Marseille's red line? For the longest time, they didn't have a sponsor for their stadium. What is your red line? Is it gambling? Is it marijuana? Can I say that? Is it? What is it? What is your red line? Somebody approaches you, and what are you going to say no to? You're not going to say no to anything. You know, that's okay too. To have your red line, at least have. When I think about these conversations, I think when the 90s, when Green Day got a record contract, everybody said that they sold out. Green Day. To get, and record contracts were a little bit different then, but to sell out now, like what is the limit? What is the limit that you are willing to go to? I have made a firm stance on this show that we will not have a gambling sponsor. That's my stance. And that's okay. I think people are respecting that. Would respect that. What is yours? You are an athlete. You're Devin Rippey. Everyone's coming to you. You're going to be the number 1 NFL draft pick. Everyone's coming to you. You're going to be the number 1 NBA draft pick. Everyone's coming to you, trying to get you involved. And what are you going to say no to? If you're a founder and you're like, oh, that's really interesting. I could use these athletes that are growing their audiences and incentivize them to participate. What is your line? What are links in which you are willing to go to? This show, presented by Audit. Audit is bringing you Open Athletes, creative studio for brand, space, image, and experience. And for the first 5 clients, month 1 is $1. Then a simple, productized studio with one project at a time. Audit, A-U-U-D-I-T. Hello, audit.jeremywolf.co. Links are in all of the descriptions whenever I can make the formatting good. Marseille sells its stadium name for $2.45 million. What is it going for in the United States? What is it going for in different leagues? $30 million? Much more. Much more. These teams. Depends on your audience. Depends on your market. Depends on your sport. What is your line? Where are you willing to go to? ESPN's big streaming bet 1 year in. We close where we open on the screen. Apple is inventing a new way to watch. ESPN is a year into betting its future on going direct to you. And the scoreboard is a reality check. Per Front Office Sports, ESPN's traditional cable income fell as subscribers slipped, even as its new flagship D2C service ramped up. Per ESPN, flagship ESPN Unlimited runs $29.99 a month with a select tier of $11.99 a month. The Wrap's August tally: Netflix reported 325 million subscriptions, Disney 220 million across Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN Plus. ESPN is doing the right thing, playing the game in which the game now needs to be played. Cable was the perfect business. We're back to media. Cable was the perfect business. For these cable companies, it was... That's why all of the content was happening in the mid to middle 2010s, before all of this streaming stuff happened, because you ESPN would be inside this cable bundle, and you would make $100 million a year. You would make hundreds of millions of dollars a year, and you would make the money on the advertising on top of that. ESPN is doing the right thing, and it still hurts. Cable was the perfect business. A few dollars a month from 100 million households, most of whom never watched. Going D2C means you only get paid by people who actually want you. Healthier, going direct, smaller, less massive an audience, and a brutal transition. This is the defining move of the media business, and it fits the Tuesday lens. Everyone is trading a big, passive audience for a smaller, paying one. And so what? So what? Athletes are ahead of ESPN. It costs so much money for these networks to make and distribute their content, their high quality content. And yes, there is the advertising revenue that comes in. And sometimes, in some cases, the advertising revenue that some of these platforms make on the free accounts makes more than what they would make on the higher paying tiers of those streaming platforms. So why does it matter? Because they are competing with TikTok and YouTube, which you can make content and have as many eyeballs as they do for free. You already have a direct relationship with fans, the one that they are looking for. You never got addicted to the bundle, talking to athletes out there. ESPN is spending billions to reach the place you can build to for free. This show I make for free. It costs me nothing. It costs me time. But I am building an audience for open athletes for free. And my goal is to have as many daily viewers as ESPN's morning show. I will look at that number. I will put it on a whiteboard. Maybe I'll stick something back here. Right now, our audience is small. We're going direct to you. Hopefully, it's entertaining enough for you to stick around and tell your friends, hey, this former Major League draft pick yells at me about sports for an hour and a half a day and interviews people who are building something in sports, athletes and founders and whatever. That, I think the thing that we are doing is as entertaining. And you have, when you do something like this every single day, you got to be a little delirious, right? But it's as entertaining or more entertaining than what ESPN is doing. Any network in sports is doing in the morning. Nick Wright, come on the show. Skip Bayless, come on our show. Have a conversation about the changing media landscape. But I am making Open Athletes is creating a community and a show that can, as we get better, we're still very early, as we get better, be more entertaining. That what they are spending billions of dollars on for the same eyeballs. It's all about eyeballs. It's all about reach. And it's all about advertising on top of that reach. And if they're spending this much for this amount of eyeballs, and I'm spending this much for this amount of eyeballs, is it a model that can sustain itself? Is it a model that can sustain itself? In 5 years from now, where... That's the wrong way. When we need to remember something, we put on the dings. 5 years out, is ESPN's D2C bet a win? Or do they end up owned by a bundle inside of Apple, Amazon, YouTube TV? They already are. But where is this all going? They're losing the ability to create a high value, leveraged product that goes directly to you, the sports fan. And as the winds change, and as the politics change, and as they continue to bet on stars rather than the thing that people are clamoring for, which is the sport, they still got Monday Night Football. Okay? They're not going away. The ESPN, the worldwide leader of sports, is not going away. But we are watching their adjustment in real time. And we're seeing them create avenues to try to keep up with the Netflixes, the platforms who have a large, right? ESPN's the only sports-only one that we've talked about. They're competing with Netflix that has all of these other reasons why you need Netflix and also live sports. And Amazon Prime. You have Amazon Prime because you want something in your doorstep in 12 minutes. And they have all of these things. And they also have live sports. YouTube has all of these things, and they also have live sports. ESPN is sports only. They have niched down, and they're seeing that the market for that is that number that we gave. It's $29 a month. And Disney, 220 million subscribers across Disney Plus, Hulu, and ESPN. It's just we have to talk about the economy of sport every single day on this show because A, it's changing so quickly. ESPN income down as subscribers fall, but flagship launch looms. For Front Office Sports, as expectations continue to climb for ESPN's forthcoming direct-to-consumer streaming service, the network has some near-term financial hurdles to overcome. ESPN parent company Disney has plenty of optimism for the next year despite rising economic headwinds, but the near term is still somewhat choppy for the sports media giant. Disney said Wednesday that it grew 7% to $23.6 billion in its second fiscal quarter that ended March 29th, and increasing its operating income by 15% to $4.4 billion. Forthcoming debut of ESPN. ESPN, however, had a more mixed report for the latest quarter. Domestic revenue rose 7% to $4.2 billion, but operating income fell 17% to $648 million, with earnings particularly hit by increased rights and production costs for the newly expanded college football playoff, as well as timing of the 2024 regular season schedule. '26 regular season schedule, and equal to the level it reached in mid-2022. Okay, it's somewhat stagnant, their growth, their value, the things that they're doing. Subscriptions are slipping because what is the value that they have? People want to cut the cord. They're cutting the cord. But people want to also stop subscribing. And it's $30 a month. Worth it. Today's close. Own the pipes. You're not the talent. You're the distribution. You are the talent. You're the talent on the field. You're the talent off the field, but you're not just talent. You are the distribution of that talent. All 6 stories we talked about today are about building an audience. The value in sports is moving from the thing on the screen to the pipe that delivers it to you, to where you're at. Almost nobody in the locker room is being told that. The receipts, Apple is spending a fortune to build a new immersive pipe because the pipe is where the power is. The NFL pre-sold $6 billion in ads, a toll on one pipe where everybody shows up at once. ESPN is bleeding through a switch from a fat cable pipe to a direct one because that old pipe is cracking and dying. And a Duke, not even freshman, he's not even enrolled yet, took equity in a pasta company because somebody realized the brand was paying for his pipe, his audience, not his handles. The honest tension. Owning the pipe is hard. Taking the check is easy. No thanks. I'd like the equity. Even though that's worth nothing, is an insane sentence when you have bills to pay. Most of you won't build a media empire. The Vision Pro might flop. The pasta company might fold. The field decides when your talent ends. Your distribution, your audience, and access closes only if you let it. Every deal today was a fight over who owns the pipe between the athlete and the fan, the connection points between the purchasers and the makers. Where do you sit? If you're a brand watching this, where do you want to invest in sport? If you're an athlete watching this, where can you leverage an audience that you can create or should create or have created? How can you build the trust? I was a minor league baseball player. I did not have leverage. My small example, I emailed a bunch of companies. I said, I'm a professional athlete. Give me the thing. We'll post about it on social media. People sent me things. Very rarely did somebody say no. If they said no, they actually said, well, we can't give it for free, but here's a very, very steep discount. You have leverage, regardless of where you are. I was Division 3, unless you're Division 3. But maybe the thing that you do in Division 3 is so valuable to that local community. Or you can amass or are amassing a large following online because you are different in how you are telling the story about being a college athlete. People want different. They want to see you, and they want to stop scrolling because they're seeing something familiar. Your free action this week, free, on your next deal conversation with a brand, with somebody who can leverage the fact that you have an audience. Is there a version? Ask this question. Is there a version where you own a piece instead of getting paid one time? Most of the time, no. But the smart ones, like Rippy, said we could leverage the fact that this guy is building his audience. And that is a match that is worth taking. That is a step worth taking. That if you're a brand, in sports or not, pasta is not sports, but maybe in 5 years, this kid's in the NBA and Rippy is the official pasta partner of the NBA. They're already in Whole Foods. Maybe the official sponsor of Amazon Prime, which now hosts NBA games. Like, they're in the door. Rippy is now in the door now because they've had this conversation. And so that's what you, as a builder, brands, and as the athlete, can do to leverage the audience that's being created because of sports. And so that's why we have to talk about ESPN, because that is where money is moving in sports. Money is not subscribers. Where are the subscribers going to for these networks? Where are the advertising dollars going to these networks? And where can these advertising dollars go to you, the athlete, because you are building as big or bigger of an audience than what these networks are doing? Where does somebody say, oh, Open Athletes has this many views per day, this many impressions on social media each week, and that is as much as a show on that ESPN app, which we were sponsoring anyway. Now you've diverted where those funds can go directly to the thing that you've created for almost $0. It takes time. It takes focus. It takes understanding where you are in the marketplace. And so as Open Athletes starts to build our community, as we start to bring in athletes into our cohorts to help them build businesses, these athlete-founded businesses fully understand the leverage that athletes have. Whether or not they're building in sports, our athlete founders are going to be able to really understand the value that this athlete can have. And that's what sets them apart. That's the leg up. If Devin Rippy Jr. wanted to come on our show, tell his story about it, amazing. I would love it. But if he goes, I also want to start a business too, a media company. Come start a media company. Because you fully understand. And you have a good team of people around you, you're going to understand how to leverage the fact that you are in the room and leveraging your time in the room. Taking advantage of your time in the room. Athlete founders understand this inherently because they know, well, did I maximize my time? I certainly didn't. It's now I have to crawl my way back. If you're building in sports or building adjacent to sports and you can use an athlete. So these conversations are important because you might say, well, okay, we're not a pasta company, but we're a whatever company we are. And we're in Arizona and we already sponsor ASU, or we're thinking about sponsoring ASU, but why not I spend a little bit less? And why don't I sponsor that basketball player? have him benefit from the fact that he's a basketball player at ASU, but have you benefit from the fact that he can build an audience for you for less money than what these traditional brands are doing. It's still sexy to be on an arena. Yes. It's $2.5 million a year to be on an arena in France. But you want more eyeballs? Piggyback on top of what athletes are doing right now, because that's where the money is moving to. And that is what makes this show important, because we're actually having that conversation, seeing where the money is moving throughout sports. And there will be more to talk about tomorrow and the next day. So I appreciate you guys for being here. Thank you so much. August 11th. I'm Jeremy Wolf, former MLB draft pick, host of Open Athletes, founder of Open Athletes, and I'll see you tomorrow.